Here's what happened, guys. I refused, and I still refuse to this day, to believe the US is inevitably doomed to collapse. We have the choice if we let it collapse as Americans. And I would want to see Americans thriving. I hope you do too. So welcome back to the show. It's going to be a different show tonight, and it's going to set the tone for what you can expect moving forward. Because for me, I believe America's future is a small business renaissance made possible by free market capitalism. And I know there's a lot of talk about socialism recently. New York City mayor's race just happened. Zoran Mamdani won. There's this talk of socialism in the air. Feels like Marxism is coming up too, communism. And for me, with capitalism, you have the freedom to decide how you make a living with capitalism. And that's such a beautiful freedom. That's important that we preserve that. And it's interesting because, I see the pattern of people that are decades older than me talking about how the U.S. is inevitably doomed to collapse and we should throw up our hands in the air and just say, we had a good run. That's it. And I don't buy it. I'm like, no, we can do something about this. Because I think back to that, those that are older than me, right? And I think back to, for decades now, looking back, for decades, our ruling class leaders have sold out our future to China, globalist corporations, self-interest lobbyists. And why do they do this? Well, to enrich themselves, to hold on to power, while at the same time rigging a system to keep down good, decent, middle-class Americans and small businesses. And change is happening. I'm noticing that in different industries within the different small businesses across different industries. You feel something in the air. You feel it, a change happening. There is this feeling of hope that's starting to build. Because yes, I would say, with capitalism, you can think of, we're just constantly consuming. I feel that too, that comes up. But then I look at, okay, well, what do we need? Well, we need community. And so I'm thinking, I'm thinking to myself here, is big business better at building community than a small business in a local community or small business online? Like which one's better? Which one's easier to build community, not only in the culture of the team, but then you think externally with the community at large? Like, who do you think is better? I'm putting it on the small businesses. And so there's an opportunity here that I feel a lot of people are missing, that I feel is so important to highlight. Because again, this movement that's being built here, it gets me really excited. It gives me a lot of hope for change to happen, to be able for more Americans to start small businesses and to impact their communities, solving problems, being able to create jobs, and have some really amazing and thriving cities and towns. Because I know there are a lot of cities and towns that are falling apart. I know you can see it too. So I do appreciate your support with subscribing, leaving a comment, sharing your thoughts, sharing this with a friend, family. It helps with this national movement that is growing. But what can happen when those people that have been around for a long time, and you think about it as a small business owner, myself, when I started over a decade ago as a DJ, as more time goes by and you don't see the change, or change isn't occurring, you can lose hope little by little by little. And then it can get to the point where if you don't see the results, you just, you get to the point where you give up. And my objective is, to the best that I can, to communicate with you that you do not have to have that happen to you, of giving up. We don't have to have that happen to us, to our families, our communities, and our country I love, and I hope you love it too. And I think of this line from an American economist, Thomas Sowell, for what to expect moving forward. And I want to get into that for what you can expect with this show moving forward. And that is, there are no solutions, just trade-offs. And for the last few decades, it's been tough. It's been tough to see what's been happening. I think about our national debt at over $38 trillion. The amount of people that are on these programs that are given by the government, I think about the welfare programs, it's ballooned for spending. Yeah, I think it's been over 20 years since there's been a surplus in the budget. And then I look at through all this, I think of the financial crisis back in 2008. I think of COVID and lockdowns. It's still crazy that all happened. But what went through that, and there have been some that have gone and some that have started back up, are small businesses. They've been around. They've existed. Through the tough times, through the good times, some fall off, some restart, some get started for the first time, but they're there. And it's interesting with thinking back to here in the US, there's 33 million small businesses that employ 45% of the private workforce. That's not something that has a small impact. That has a big impact on our country. That can move things forward in incredible ways. And so I want to share with you what you can expect on the show moving forward. The first, and it's opened up my eyes. I think it's been over a year now with this of feeling like I've had the wool taken off my eyes. But for me, it's a determination to seek the truth and to be able to share that with you. And when it comes back to America's future is a small business renaissance, it's seeking out that truth, expressing that to you for what I'm finding out and researching, the conversations that I'm having. And I see it. I mean, I see the seeds that are being planted, the possibility of this thing. And it's going to take a lot of us to get on board on the train that's moving full speed ahead to make this happen and to create that momentum, continue the momentum, I should say, continue that momentum. The next thing you can expect is where I make a mistake, I'll admit them to you. I will, right? Yeah. I think about it in your specific industry. If you're a small business owner or just a human being, like you get it. I mean, there can be a lot of fakeness that's out there. A lot of people that make mistakes, they don't admit it. Fear of reputation. I want you to know that where I make a mistake, I'll admit that to you. And even going back to the truth, because you can get to a point where there's uncomfortable truths, and you decide not to share those. Or be able to dive deeper and learn more. I'm determined. I'm determined to seek it out. And where it gets really uncomfortable, continue to move forward and discover things and share what I find out. And through the conversations that I have, being able to make sure you have the opportunity to hear that and do the best that I can. I mean, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And the mistakes are going to be made. I'll admit them when they happen to you. And then the other one is to help you realize that stress doesn't have to control your life. It doesn't. How this started was make burnout extinct, the mission. And that still is a big part of the mission, but it's getting bigger now. It's getting into America's future. And for me, one of the reasons of this mission to make burnout extinct is for people to not let stress control them, but then to realize what's going on in the bigger picture in their country. I think about that, to have pride again for our country, to feel like we're winning in life. Like it's the difference that can happen, right? When you're winning, when you feel like you're losing. And it's so important to make sure that we're acknowledging those moments where we win and celebrate them, no matter how small they are, for a win for the day. Realizing that those stack up, small wins lead to the big wins. And this is a small movement, but a determined movement. That, no doubt. Other thing you can expect is an unrelenting belief that America's future is a small business renaissance made possible by free market capitalism. We've got a lot of work with this system. It's been rigged. It's been taken advantage of, abused so many ways that I'll get into more and share that in another night. But because I think about it, this might be a wake-up call for you, but I go to, I think about it in this way. This could help you out. For you to think that no student has ever cheated on a school test is absurd. Absolutely absurd. It's just not true. It's happened. And you can think about that with our systems. They've been abused. They've been taken advantage of. It happens. And so it goes back to there's no solutions, but there's trade-offs and figuring out ways to improve the current system rather than completely destroying it. That's where you have these evil forces like Marxists coming in and just trying to destroy the system. Because I go back to in a capitalistic system, you can live as a socialist. And yes, I know, socialism, communism, you got those differences here. I feel like it's just like one's the appetizer, the other one's the main meal for it. But the roads lead to the abolish of private property, which goes back to your freedom as a small business owner to be able to own your small business. The freedom for you to decide how you make a living. And that is a freedom I do not want to see taken away in this country. I don't. So going back to the 33 million small businesses that employ 45% of the private workforce, there's a lot to be done here to make improvements, make it easier for opportunity or have more opportunities for Americans to start small businesses, more support. I think there's, when it comes to the government, being able to localize government more, where regulations don't make sense, getting rid of those, and being able from both the consumer's perspective and then I think about that as a society as a whole, really elevating small businesses, empowering them. There's a lot of exciting developments that are unfolding in this area. I think about that in different industries like travel. I think about it with health and then also food and bev and a lot of more industries where there's momentum that is growing for small businesses. And I know there's a lot of pain too with that. And then there will be a lot of pain moving forward. But again, we got to go back to what is going to be easier to build community. Big business, small businesses. I'm going with small businesses for that. For communities in our local communities, being able to get to know each other, to connect on a deep level. I think about that. I don't even drink coffee, but like when someone invites me to a meeting at a coffee shop, I just feel there's a different feeling there. Being around people rather than staying stuck in your house. And the current path that we're headed, it's not possible for us to sustain that. I think about the national debt. I think about how many people are needing government support in some capacity. And I get it. Like I get the pain that is out there, but we got to change this narrative. Get out of this victim mindset. Be able to have pride in the work that we're doing and pride in a career. I heard this once and it's hit me. It's like the greatest social program is a job and a career. And there is an opportunity here to really move forward in this movement of having a small business renaissance unfold. And the seeds are there. America's future is a small business renaissance. I appreciate you guys, your support in this. More to come moving forward. The plan is also to go live. That's another thing to expect. Go live so that you can share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll do the best I can to go through them and where I can answer questions that come up. But I'm excited for how this is going to be moving forward. The plan is to do this from Monday to Friday. And the set time here is 5:43 Eastern Standard Time is going to be the plan to kick it off in this first week. And then we're going to keep testing this out with seeing how this goes. But I really appreciate you and appreciate you having my back in this. It's been tough. I don't like to get into it too much because it's like, what's the point here? Got to keep moving forward, keep fighting for our republic and being able to preserve the freedoms that we have here in this country and to continue to have pride in this country. Like you can be proud to be an American. And I know what it feels like to feel like that guilt of like, am I supposed to? Am I not? I get it. I'm part of the millennial generation. Like I totally get that. Appreciate you guys. Good night.